the expectations of making the playoffs and all that stuff. They kind of brought this upon themselves. And let me explain myself here. So obviously, last trade deadline, they're in Kansas City. There's the meeting with then GM Billy Epler and Steve Cohen meets the media, and they're kind of saying 2024 is no, they're not a rebuild, nothing like that, but maybe a little bit of a bridge year or something like that. You know, playing the young guys, and they kind of carried that over to the offseason and the way they approach the offseason as well, with taking chances on guys like Severino, Mania, coming off either bad or meh years, and to say, hey, there's upside here. If the guy pitches at his highest level, then that's probably good for us, and we're probably a playoff team, whatever. And I think they kind of approached the offseason that way for the most part. And I think they stuck to their word that this is good. 2024 is a bridge year. We got all these guys coming up, and hopefully they're more, they're the core of our future. Where it started to change for me was back at the end of spring training when they signed JD Martinez. Now, obviously, the price dropped to them in a position where they said, "Hey, we're going to do this." I guess they weren't overly impressed the way Mark Vientos and at that time DJ Stewart were performing in spring training. They felt they had to go out and get a bat. But when you sign a guy like JD Martinez, in my mind, it signifies something that this is not a bridge year. A guy like JD Martinez at this stage in his career, he's going to go to a place where he thinks he can win a World Series, and stuff like that. So in my mind, and maybe you disagree, maybe others do, and maybe I already see you shaking your head. But I guess when you sign a guy like JD Martinez, to me, that signifies that we're in it. We're going for it. Not 2024 is not the bridge year. It's a we're gonna make we were gonna try to make the playoffs and try to win a World Series, whatever. So I think they kind of brought this upon themselves a little bit in that regard, where then the expectations, at least for me anyway, then they shot up a little bit rather than hey, I know Vientos and Stewart or whatever they didn't have great spring trains, but they said hey, we're gonna roll these guys and whatever, and we'll just see where the we'll see where the cards fall when it comes to them, but going out to sign JD Martinez, was it a bad move? No, I didn't hate it at the time, but I think it just tweaked my expectations maybe. Maybe it's more of a me thing rather than the organization thing. But I think when you bring in a guy like JD Martinez for that lineup for this team on a 1 year deal, I think I viewed it more as a win now move rather than, hey, let's bring this guy in and we'll continue to let the chips fall with our young guys. And then if we fall out of it, then we can just trade JD Martinez. Maybe that was more their thinking. But for me anyway, when you sign JD Martinez, it meant we're going for the playoffs.
Yeah, but you can do both. You can be in an in between year and still trying to make the playoffs. So um, I think you said some things that are right, and I think exactly like you mentioned that JD Martinez was still available and fell to them, um, made the Mets make that move. But I still see it as a bridge here with hope of making the playoffs, and um, even and I think in the back of our minds, even if you don't make the playoffs, JD Martinez can get you a prospect. So for the organization, I don't necessarily see it as a um, win now or yeah, not necessarily see. Of course, you want to win and you want to be in the playoffs, and obviously that was the main reason. The main reason is obviously that the Mets got JD Martinez for this season because he has a 1 year deal. So that's logical. But I still see it as an in between year. I still see all those moves the Mets make are were 1 year deals for a reason. Um, and that was we have some financial uh, flexibility with Steve Cohen. We can still go for it and not make it a total rebuild. And even if it doesn't work out, you have a nice trading deadline because we have a lot of people who could be available, which helps us in the future. And I think definitely think that that's a big part of the strategy. Go for it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, hey, get some extra prospects. Never hurts.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes a lot of sense. I guess I would just rather I guess like what I'm trying to say is like I wish they had maybe picked the direction and gone in it. I guess it seems a little bit more of kind of like a tweener move. Maybe I'm not explaining myself correctly enough. I guess if you were gonna say this is a bridge year, this is a rebuild year, whatever, stick with it. If this was a hey, you know what, we're gonna try to run this again. We'll go deep sea fishing, free agency, go in that direction. Um, you know, and I think for the most part they kind of stuck to the former. Hey, this guy's got some upside. Let's grab him. If it works, great. If not, whatever. I viewed that more just the bridge kind of thing. I guess I view JD Martinez more as a chips in kind of move. But you're saying you view it as more like signing the Severino to the 1 year deal or the Manaya to the 1 year with the player option for next year kind of. So you think it's kind of the same move where I think it's more of a drastic move. Um,
Yeah, but for me it would be different if you signed a guy on a long-term deal. It's a 1-year deal, so they saw the opportunity. They saw a very good bet still left on the open market, which um, in my mind I agreed with, and in their mind was an upgrade over a spot where they definitely tried to have a spring training and see what those DJ Stewart and Mark Vientos could do. But they they pivoted, and I think it's never terrible to pivot when you see an opportunity. I see it like that. They see an opportunity. It's a low risk move. It's a 1-year deal. You can say yes, he has deferred money somewhere in 2020, 32 to 2036. Well, that's I
yeah,
think it's
we'll be
like
dead by the time JD Martinez gets that money.
and
Maybe not, but
it's probably worth less than it is right now. So it's peanuts at that point. So that's I don't care about that.
it's not
Um,
our money.
True, but I also don't think that, unlike maybe with the Otani deal, I don't think the Mets are hurt by it at that point. So it's just a non-issue for them in those years. So I still see it. I still see it that way. Like, they saw an opportunity, get JD Martinez. It was never a secret that they were trying to win, also with the moves of Severino. If you're in a complete rebuild, you aren't going to pay 14, $13 million, whatever Severino got for a guy coming off a 6.50 ERA or something like that. So um, it's to me, it was still it wasn't necessarily that much of a difference how I felt about the Mets. You did because you said before the JD Martinez deal that the Mets weren't a playoff team, and all of a sudden in your prediction you said the Mets were a playoff team, and I still said probably not. If it and it happens, it could be the Mets have some upside. We still could be a playoff team. I'm not giving up on the season on May 17th with a half game deficit in the wild card. Um, but it's not that it was. The future is bright. That's what I have said in numerous podcasts right now. The future is bright, and this is let's hope for the best type of season.